Bit of sad news to start this episode of Bigro's Tracks of the Week. We lost a comedic legend, Ben Stiller's dad, Jerry Stiller, well known for his role as George's dad on Seinfeld, Frank Costanza. And so, in honor, we have our Festivus poll. We can air out some grievances.
The tradition of Festivus begins with the airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people.
My grievances being that not enough people of you are watching my Bigro's Tracks of the Week, and I put effort into these, so do me a favor, share with all your friends that enjoy music. Look at these numbers boosted up, Here's some rookie numbers we've been getting. But let's get into the tracks. We have our boy Tekashi 6ix9ine finally making a comeback after his 6 months in jail, after he was supposedly going to face 46 years. He's out, and he released the song Gooba, which, it's kind of mid. It's not amazing by any means, but, it's serviceable, and it's a good step at his comeback. We can see he doesn't really lose any musical integrity. He hasn't, gone down in quality, so shout out 6ix9ine, who unfortunately had to relocate to a new witness protection home because they leaked his old address. So I wonder if that'll keep happening. He's going to live literally in every single house that the FBI got for him. Next up, we have a new song from, I believe this is a TM88 Young Thug single for their upcoming collab project. I'm not exactly sure. That or it's just some random song they decided to release just because, I don't know, they had music in their vault and they thought it was good. Well, it is pretty good. Young Thug does some really interesting, demon screeches on this. I don't know if he was possessed when recording this one, but give this a listen just for that. And obviously Future, Moneybagg Yo, they do their thing, so give it a shot. Next up, we have a Just Moneybagg Yo song. Judging from the album cover, I guess it's a new single for the deluxe version of Time Served. Time Served came out earlier this year, and it was before I was doing my Bigro Tracks of the Week every week, so you guys missed my review of it. But I enjoyed it quite a bit, saved most of the songs. I really like Moneybagg Yo. He's kind of like a younger version of Kevin Gates. They have a similar vocal style, so give this a shot. I think it's a good single. Alright, next up we have RMR's song Dealer, which I covered a couple weeks ago, but now he's got a Future and Lil Baby feature on it. And I think they both add to the song, which is kind of interesting because people have been saying that RMR is an industry plant, and that's how he was able to get this big label artist, Future and Lil Baby, on it, but at the same time, they aren't featuring his song on Rap Caviar, and if anything's a sure sign of an industry plant is if they get on Rap Caviar, so I'm holding out that RMR is not an industry plant, just a really talented, mysterious man with a mask. Who knows, though? Next up, we have Say It Again by 1-4. 1-4 is a rap collective from Australia, which is kind of interesting. They don't really sound Australian on this song to me. It sounds more grimy, kind of like the English rap, but they got an ASAP Ferg feature on it, so that came on my radar, and I love some Fergalicious, and he does a pretty good verse on it. He doesn't really phone it in, so nice of him to give 1-4 a good feature. Maybe they can start popping off more in America. I think they are pretty big in Australia at the moment. Next up, we have Bald remix from JPEG Mafia. JPEG Mafia is a really interesting artist. He's pretty interesting. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan. His music is kind of hard to get into. It's kind of like industrial, weird sounding beats. I mean, obviously he's talented, but it's not really the easiest listening experience, but this has been his most accessible song to me so far, mainly because of the Denzel Curry feature verse, which is very good. Denzel spit some hard bars over this. So this is probably the first JPEG Mafia song I can say I've actually enjoyed. If you guys are a fan of him, leave some songs down below that maybe are more accessible that I could get into as well. But until then, this is the only song I've liked of him so far, but maybe more will come. Next up, we have Enemy from Slow Tie. Slow Tie is one of the only grime artists that I've been enjoying recently. He comes straight from the UK. His project last year, Nothing Great About Britain, I think it won a couple of awards at some British music award show or something. But he's continuing his output with this new single, Enemy. Pretty good. He's I guess kind of a controversial figure, as in like there's some people that are mad at him because of some stuff he did over in England. Not exactly sure the extent of it, but he's been releasing good music. Really kind of trappy influenced grime, so give this a shot if you would like that. Next up, we have this new EP from Lil TJ. His single Ice Cold released last week was a tease for it. Overall, I thought it was pretty good. Front half better than the back half, because the front half had a lot more drill influence, as in the Fivio Foreign and the Rest in Peace Pop Smoke feature. Pop Smoke doesn't miss. Fivio Foreign, he does all right. And Lil TJ is a great compliment to the hard-hitting beat and the more gruff vocals of these two guys. So give this a shot if you want that hard-hitting New York sounds. Lil TJ is really claiming here that he's putting the city on his back, but he lives in New York. Half the rap artists that are popping come from New York. I know what he's talking about, but... Next up, we have an album from Rob Stone that actually came out a little bit ago, but he released a deluxe version this week, so I gave it a shot. It's really mid. The best song on it, Too Faded, I think was a single he released in 2018 and just now made it to his album in 2020. Shots at the Bar is pretty good. No Axis featuring Hardini's alright. This man is never going to reach the same lengths as Chill Bill. And that's just a sad fact to face. When Chill Bill is probably one of the biggest bangers of the last decade. So, pouring out for Rob Stone. Next up, we have the Brown Boy himself released Good Intentions, an album that I've heard a lot of people say is probably his best album, which I can agree to. But I also really don't like Nav, and I think his voice sucks. His inflections are like... sounds like a baby. It's terrible. I don't like it at all. That being said, the Future track and the Lil Uzi Vert track, they kind of hit. Pop Smoke track also. I mean, we're not going to get many more Pop Smoke features, so enjoy them while we can. Overall, I will say this is probably the Nav album I've enjoyed the most. But like I said, that's not saying much. Turks especially, what a disappointing song. This was his lead single. Really not good. And if you guys didn't see, he also did the Lil Uzi Vert thing where he released the deluxe version of this, which is basically just a double album featuring the sequel to his Brown Boy mixtape. I didn't listen to that. I was already underwhelmed by this. So, if you like Nav, you will really like this album. But if you don't like Nav, you'll never like Nav, and you won't like this project. Next up, we have a collab album between Young Thug and Chris, I Beat Up Women Brown. And to be honest, they mesh pretty well together. Chris Brown, obviously, he's super talented. A real scumbag, but a very talented scumbag at that. And he does his thing. Really goes back to his early 2000s sound on this, I feel. Especially on Go Crazy, which is probably the biggest song that's going to come from this. I've seen a lot of play of it already. They have changed the album cover art. I kind of like this better than the other one, but they're both alright. But overall, they have really good chemistry. The first half is better than the back half. And we get a random Young Thug and Future song at the end. People are saying it's a tease for Super Slimy 2. I hope not. I don't really like that song. But overall, I'm impressed. It seemed like this was a rushed project, at least from Young Thug's tweets, where he said he recorded all the verses in one day. But I think that's just kind of a eccentric thugger thing to do, and he sounds good to me. Next up, we have Lil Durk's Just 'Cause Y'all Waited 2. Lil Durk is a artist I really enjoy, probably my favorite artist out of Chicago. But unfortunately, this is one of the weaker projects I've heard from him. Overall, I didn't really love very many songs on it. He kind of gets too samey with his auto-tune. The streets are tough. Oh man, these streets. But overall, the songs that do hit really hard. The Lil Baby Polo G Three-Headed Goat song. The Gucci Gucci Gunna song, which has a really funny hook that you wouldn't think flows the way it does, but it really does hit better than you would initially think from hearing a song called Gucci Gucci. 248, Triflin' Hose, these are probably the two best oh, the streets are out here, man. There's just too much streets. Oh, obviously Streets Affection too. But overall, I'm more excited for Little Durk's upcoming project, No Auto, which will be no auto-tune, back to his earlier Signed by the Streets days when he was just spitting hard Chirac drill music. So hopefully that will be better than this. And then last but not least, we have The Player's Manual by Ramirez. Ramirez really capturing that West Coast G-Funk sound with this one, which I really wasn't expecting, because, you know, Ramirez, associated with the Suicide Boys, signed to Grey 5'9", usually releases songs more like Red Dot featuring Night Lavelle, which is like the one major banger of the whole album, and boy is it a banger. But overall, some really nice cruising down the street in my 6'4" type music. Probably some of the best music in this style I've heard in a long time. Puyo was just born to flow over a G-Funk beat. Shakewell does the hook on this song, and it's like weirdly beautiful. Overall, every collab between Ramirez and Rocky is really good, so give this a shot if you like that West Coast 90s vibe, kind of a more modern twist, or if you just want a super hard-hitting banger, listen to this song. So, that has been the tracks of the week. Hope you guys have enjoyed. City Morgue's got new music coming out this week, so be prepared for that. Hopefully it is very good. If you didn't know, their album last year was my album of the year. Hope you guys are doing out there in quarantine, surviving. Peace out, boys and gals.
For my life, can't say that, girl. Don't tell me you could say that shit. All she want is payback for the way